Okay. If one resident of the outer forgot to contribute to the Erev, the inner is permitted while the outer is prohibited. If one from the inner forgot, both are prohibited. If they place the Erev in one place and one resident of either the inner or the outer forgot to contribute to the Erev, both are prohibited. But if they were inhabited by individuals, they need not make an Erev. What does that mean exactly if they were inhabited by individuals? They're both all individuals
No,
involved, right?
no, I'm saying when each the Mishnah is saying when your chatzer is owned by exactly one person, it's not a jointly owned
Okay.
chatzer. Then there's
Okay.
no need for an Eruv in either case because it's just part of their property. And Drisas Regel doesn't everyone agrees that in this case the Drisas Regel doesn't affect the owner of the outer courtyard.
Okay. A window between two courtyards. If it is a 4 by 4 fist within 10, they may make two Eruvin. Or if they wish, they may make one Eruv. Less than 4 by 4 or higher than 10, they may make two Eruvin, but may not make one Eruv. If a wall between the two courtyards is 10 fists high and 4 wide, they make two Eruvim, but they may not make one Eruv. And if there was fruit on top of it, these ascend from here and eat, and those ascend from there and eat, provided they do not bring down. If the wall was breached up to 10 cubits, they may make two erevim, or if they wish, one. Because it is like an entrance greater than that, they make one erev, and that may not make two erevim. Okay.
All right, so now we carry on with some more case studies in Eruvin between adjoining courtyards. Up until now, we've been dealing with courtyards that have got a wall between them. Now we've got a ditch between them. Okay, charetz shebein shnei chatzeros. So what's the definition of a charetz? Asara amok asara. It's got to be 10 tvachim deep. Rachav arba'ain. It's got to be 4 wide. So now this is dafka for 4 tvachim wide because anything narrower than that, and it's just like a crack in the floor, and you'd step over it. Hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you just got a ditch that's too narrow or too shallow, then it's just a crack in the floor and people will step across it. But once it's 4 tvachim wide and 10 tvachim deep, that's a significant thing, and that separates the two. And then you can't make a single eruv between them. Afilu malay or tevin, even if it is filled up with straw or tevin is hay.
They say earth or pebbles.
No, not earth or pebbles. That's the next case. Straw or stubble.
Oh, stubble or straw. I'm sorry, stubble or straw. Right.
Okay. So why is that? Because straw is like a temporary thing. That's the sort of thing that the animals will go in and eat it. So therefore, it's not considered as a filling for the ditch. However, malay afar yotzoros, if it's stones, if it's dust or pebbles, because that actually fills up the ditch. Because those things are left in place, you don't take them out, and that's now no longer a ditch. It's too shallow now. If it takes away from the 10 tvachim. Okay, so therefore it's kilo, it's not there. Okay, Mishnah Dalet, Nasan alav neser shehu rachav arba tvachim. So you put a plank across the two, okay, which is 4 tvachim wide. Okay, so now what that is, that's effectively making a doorway across the ditch. The plank is like a doorway across the two, so that leaves our options open. Similarly, if you had 2 balconies opposite each other, and you put a plank across the two, I guess that you could walk across between the two of them as long as it's 4 wide. You can do either 2 or 1, depending on what you want to do, because you have effectively a doorway between the two chatzeros. Okay. Pachos mikan. However, if the plank is narrower than 4 tvachim, then it's not a comfortable thing for people to walk across. Okay. Pachos mikan ma'arvim shnayim ve'en ma'arvim echad. Therefore, it's keilu, the ditch is still there and the plank is not there. Okay. Mishna hay. Now we have another configuration. Matben. You have a haystack. So you have a haystack between two courtyards. Gavoa asara tvachim. And it's at least 10 tvachim high, so it completely divides the courtyard in two. So now you might have said, all right, so the animals are this is meant to be animal fodder, and at kilo it's not there, but it's not so with the haystack that's above the ground as opposed to one that's filling a ditch. Okay, because this is actually a valid mechitza. In itself, it's a valid mechitza. You can you make two eruvin, you can't make it into one because they're two completely separate rishus. And if you've got animals that want to come and eat from the straw, then the one can eat from the one side and the other can eat from the other side. If, however, the height of the haystack dropped to below 10 tvachim, then it's no longer a mechitza. And now it's invalid, and you can't make two eruvin out of this.
I'm trying to look at the difference actually between 4 and 5, between Dalet and Hay.
Dalet and Hay. Well, Dalet and Hay is talking about a case where you've got a ditch and a plank going across the top.
Ditch. The other one is talking about a balcony between the two.
And a balcony, or else a balcony. And hay is when you're talking about a courtyard that's been separated by a wall of hay.
Right. Okay, good. I have it.
Very different cases. Okay. Good. Let's go back to Dalet Tes.
Okay. Dalet Tes. This is what they have said. The poor man may make an eruv with his feet. Said Reb Meir, we can apply this only to a poor man. Reb Yehuda says both a poor man and a rich man. They did not say we may make an eruv with bread, except to make it easier for the rich man, so that he not go out and make an eruv with his feet. One who set out for a town for which they may make an eruv, but his friend turned him back. He may go, but all the townspeople are prohibited. These are the words of Reb Yehuda ben Yehuda. Ben Meir says, whoever is able to make an eruv and does not is caught in between. One who went out of the Tchum, even 1 cubit, may not return. Reb Eliezer says 2 cubits he may return, 3 cubits he may not return. One who is overtaken by darkness outside the Tchum, even 1 cubit may not enter. And Reb Shimon says even 15 cubits he may enter. For the surveyors do not give the full measure because of those who err.
Right, so they built wiggle room in.
How does one extend
Shabbos?
That was 3?
Yeah.
Yes.
Shabbos,
yes.
Yud Gimel Zayin.
Okay, 1 second. Over here. Okay. Yud Gimel Zayin. Here we go.
Yes. So we're talking about where a deer ran into the house and people trapped it by sitting in the doorway.
Mm-hmm. If one person sat in the doorway but did not fully block it, and then a second person sat down and blocked it, the second one is liable. If the first person sat in the doorway and blocked it completely, then the second person came and sat down alongside him. Even though the first person stood up and went away, the first person is liable, and the second is exempt. To what is this case analogous? To one who locks his house to safeguard it, and a deer is found to be guarded therein. The site, the 8 shiratzim mentioned in the Torah, one who traps them and one who bruises them is liable. But other vermin and crawling things, one who bruises them is exempt, and one who traps them is because he needs them is liable. If he does not need them, he's exempt. Beasts and birds that are in one's domain, one who traps them is exempt, and one who bruises them is liable. We may not make pickling brine on Shabbos, but we may make salt water and dip his bread in it or add it to the cooked foods. Yet Reb Yossi, but this is not pickling brine, whether it is large or small quantity. Rather, these are the permissible ways to make salt water. One first adds oil to the water or to the salt. Okay.
Which shows that you're not making it for pickling, you're just making it for flavoring of your food right now. Okay, Mastros, Gimel Vav.
Roofs are exempt even when they belong to a courtyard, which is liable. A doorway, portico, or balcony count as a courtyard. If it is liable, they are liable, and if it is exempt, they are exempt. Cone-shaped huts, watch huts, and summer huts are exempt. A Genesaret hut, but even if they are a hand mill or a poultry in it, it is exempt. A potter's hut, the inner hut is liable because the outer one is exempt. Rabbi Yossi says whatever does not serve as the summer dwelling and a winter dwelling is exempt. The festival tabernacle is on the festival, and Rabbi Yehuda declares it liable, but the Chachamim do not declare it exempt. From a fig tree which stands in the yard, one may eat one by one is exempt, but if together they are he is liable. Rabbi Shimon says one in his right hand and one in his left hand and one in his mouth. If he climb to the top, he may fill his lap and cat and eat. Okay.
Hey. 3. Mikvas, Yud Vav.
Okay. Yud Vav. Okay. Beit Shammai says we may not immerse hot water in cold water, or cold water in hot water, or clean water in foul water, or foul water in clean water. Beit Hillel says we may do so immerse them. If one immersed a vessel that is filled with liquid, it is even though it was not immersed. But if it is filled with urine, it is regarded as water. If it is filled with purification water, it is not cleansed unless the water of the mikveh is more than the purification water. Rabbi Yossi says even a vessel with the capacity of a quart contains one revius. Of these liquids, it is as though it was not immersed. All foods can combine to make up the amount of half a pras that disqualifies a person. All liquids can combine to make up the amount of a revius that disqualifies a person. This is the stringency. In the case of drinking tamei liquids over the case of a mikvah, may other liquids are the same as water. Okay, one more.
And last one.
If they ate tamei foods, and drank tamei liquids, and then immersed them, and then vomited them up, they remain tamei, because they do not become purified in the body. But if he drank tamei water and then immersed himself and then vomited up, he is tahor because it became purified in the body.
Interesting that the water inside his body becomes purified with his own body.
If one swallowed a ring that is tahor and he entered a tent containing a corpse, and then he had himself sprinkled upon, and the sprinkle repeated, and he immersed himself, and then he vomited it up as if it was before. If one swallowed a ring that is tamei, he can immerse himself and eat truma. If he vomits it up, he is still tamei, but it renders it tamei. But if an arrow is
so that's the difference.
Is that
the liquid inside him becomes tahor, but the ring inside him does not.
If an arrow is stuck into a person, when it is visible, it intervenes. If it is not visible, he may immerse himself and eat truma. Well, if the arrow is stuck in the person, why would he immerse himself? I don't know. Okay.
Well, I don't know. It's like the surgery might be a little painful, and he wants to go to mikveh.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Hadron alach maseches mikvahs. Tomorrow we start nida.
All right.
Kulin.
We have
Tesvav.
The egg of a sheretz, in which an embryo has been formed, is tahor. If it has been punctured even slightly, it is tamei. A mouse that is half flesh and half earth, if one touches the flesh, he's tamei. But if he touches the earth, he's tahor. Reb Yehuda says even if he touches the earth opposite the flesh, he's tamei. And the limb and flesh that dangle on an animal convey the tumah of foods in their place, but require preparation. If the animal is slaughtered, they become prepared through its blood, and these are the words of Reb Meir, but Reb Shimon says they do not become prepared. If the animal dies, the flesh requires preparation. The limb conveys tumah as a limb of a live creature, but it does not convey tumah as a limb of a nevela. These are the words of Reb Meir, but Reb Shimon declares it tahor. And the dangling limb and flesh of a man are tahor. If the man dies, the flesh is tahor. The limb conveys tumah as a limb severed from a living person, but it does not convey tumah as a limb of a corpse. These are the words of Reb Meir, but Reb Shimon declares it tahor. Why wouldn't it not? Why would it not be tamei? It's a dead person.
Okay, so a limb that is still hanging from a person, it's still tahor as long as it's attached to him. If the person then dies, the flesh is tahor. Why is the flesh tahor? Because it's as if it fell off his body while he was still alive. Okay, and something that is a flesh that came off a person. So flesh that came off a person while he was alive is tahor. It doesn't have too much mace. But the limb is matame as Eva min achai, not as Eva min ames.
Okay.
Okay. So it's a different tumah. Eva min Ames is like is the Ohel, was Eva min Achai is not. Let me just see. Eva min Shalem Tami b'Magav Masav. Okay. Eva Shalem Tami b'Magav Masav. About Yesh Hevdel. So the difference, so Kati explains here, the difference between Eva min Achai and Eva min Ames is that Eva min Achai, a kazayas of flesh that's separated from it is tahor, whereas if the limb was taken off a mace, then even the flesh, a kazayas of flesh that comes from it is still tame, because it's a kazayas from a mace. I mean, that's really the difference. It's a very subtle difference, like a little edge case over there. Whereas a bone that's the size of a barley corn that separates from the aver, doesn't matter whether it's from a chai or from a mace, it's still tame.
No.
Okay. And so that's Rabbi Meir, and Rabbi Shimon says tahor in both cases, that whether it's a kazayis of basa or etzim kasora that separates from a chai is tahor according to Rabbi Yeshua. So we have that machlokes in, where is it, in Olos or Eidios? It was in Eidios. Eidios is normally quoting things from other parts of the Mishnah, but it's interesting. It's we only see it in Eidios there. Okay, Beseder, let's move on. Sota Vav Aleph.
I thought I had one more, but okay.
Oh, was there one more? Let me just check. No, that was it.
Oh, okay. All right, and so we are at Vav Aleph. One who warned his wife and she went into seclusion, even if he heard from a passing bird, he must divorce her and pay for her marriage contract. These are the words of Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Shua says, not until the woman who spins thread by moonlight gossip about her. If a single witness testified, I saw her become defiled, she did not drink. Moreover, even a slave or even a female slave are believed to disqualify her from receiving payment for her marriage contract. Her mother-in-law, her mother-in-law's daughter, her co-wife, her husband's brother's wife, and her husband's daughter are all believed, not however to disqualify her from receiving payment for her marriage contract, but only that she not drink.
Right. So these people who are considered adversaries,
right.
So their testimony is not good enough to make a monetary difference to her, because that's their incentive. That's exactly what they would want to do in terms of the natural enmity. Right. But what they can do is prevent her from drinking the water. So, okay.
For logic, one would have to dictate it that if the first testimony, which does not render her permanent forbidden, cannot be established by less than 2 witnesses, then the last testimony, which does render her permanently forbidden, should certainly not be established by less than 2 witnesses. But the Torah teaches that there were none to testify against her. In any manner of testimony which there may be against her, but not the logic of Kal V'Chomer. I'm sorry, something fell really bad. Let me go. I'll be right there. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Would you like a cat? Would you like a cat?
Yes. You want to go again with that?
3. By now, the logic of Kal V'Chomer dictates in regard to the first testimony that if the last testimony, which does not render her permanently forbidden, can yet be established by 1 witness, then the first testimony, which does not render her permanently forbidden, should certainly be established by 1 witness. But the Torah teaches, for he found in her some immoral matter, and over there he says, by the testimony of 2 witnesses shall the matter be established. Just as over there is a testimony of 2 witnesses, here too it is by the testimony of 2 witnesses. Okay.
Okay.
They don't want her to drink.
The what?
Why exactly are they trying to stop her from drinking?
Well, first of all, the whole thing about the drinking is, there's a big kula that happens there, is that you have to take the Shem Hashem and erase it.
Right.
And you don't want to, and it's a big deal to make somebody drink like that, to erase the Shem Hashem. So if there's even a single witness that she actually did have relations with another man, then they say, forget it, you can't, she can't drink. We're not going to go through with this procedure. Right. And in the case of the adversarial witnesses, then they say, okay, you can't make her drink, but the husband has to divorce her and give her a kasuba because he's got too much suspicion he can't take her back.
Right. Okay. All right. I got that. Okay. Thank you very much. I'll see
Okay.
you in the morning, Mr. Shem. Thank you.
Have a lovely
good
day.
day.
Bye.